Welcome back to the Troubleshooting Life podcast. I'm your host, Jay Peters, my co-host, Craig Poston, where we talk about various topics, sharing our experiences on life and finances.
How you doing?
Good. How have you been, man? I know we kind of skipped last weekend, but how was your, past couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, things are, happening for me. I'm moving slowly, but I mean, that's how it is. That's probably why I'm reading a book. You suggested a while back that I didn't pay attention until I walked through Barnes and Noble. And so it was that.
So the book that's called The Compound or Compounding Effect by Darren Hardy, and it's actually, I think it's free on Audible. It was like there another one that it's free on Audible, but and then he has another one called the Entrepreneur something. It's like the Entrepreneur Adventure or something like that. But that's also a good one.
Yeah,
that might be the one I was kind of referencing, but both of them are like really good books. And like Darren Hardy, I believe he's the one that does the Audible portion of it as well. Like he really knows how to speak well and knows how to articulate really well the entire story. The way he paints all the stories is really good too.
Yeah. So as I started reading that book, I actually started to get motivated again. Because basically, I'm not off target of what I'm doing. It just feels very slow, but everything isn't fast, and most of the time good success is with a good rhythm, a slow pace. That you have fewer mistakes that way. But I mean, sometimes it is better to learn fast, but in the case of certain things need you to constantly keep doing it over and over again to actually complete something that's bigger. I mean, you take working out, right? If you to build yourself up to working out an hour a day, you might want to try working out 30 minutes a day, and then from there, just you keep going until you get to a point where you're at an hour a day. And so I mean, it's the same thing as reading. Like me making time for reading, I'm sectioned out this day, and then maybe I can have more time later on throughout the week, so I can do more reading.
No, I definitely agree with that, and people just getting exposed to the action. Is trying to like dive headfirst into it and like assimilate their entire lifestyle to it. I mean, that has its like pros and cons too.
Yeah.
If it's to the point where it's either you're going to take action or you're not going to take action, it's good to do the incremental things first. Like when you were saying working out, I definitely subscribe to that. Like it doesn't even have to be like 30 minutes. To do like a 5 minutes, right? Go walking, whatever it is, because it introduces that part of the lifestyle into and then it acclimates the rest of it. And if you start to like it, if it becomes passion and you see differences, you would want to do more of it, right? Because we there's something to become passionate about, we dedicate a lot more time to. And it's just those things, and that's how it is for like working out with me. Like I just started doing like 5 or 15 minute like calisthenic workouts, and then I started lifting weights, and then really going to the gym and stuff. It definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, no, as I'm reading it, it says, and I'm not finished with it yet. Basically, again, taking as much time as I need. So if I don't have 20 minutes to read, I take that 20 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes, whatever it is, take that time to read just so I can make sure I get back in the rhythm of reading. Because there are so many other things that I like to work on. I mean, honestly, the house, just doing things to the house, or if it's IT stuff, looking up that, or reading an article, or like, it's not like I spend my time sitting on the couch watching TV unless I'm intentionally trying to spend time with my wife or kids, right? Yeah. So then that's sit down and watch multiple hours, especially if we're watching a show that I hadn't seen and she wants me to really see it. Then like now I'm watching, I'm sitting there for multiple hours because I'm like, now she's drawing me into it. Yeah. So because I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. Oh no, sorry, it's not the movie. Show From. It's I think the creators of it creators of that show created, I think it was Lost. I think that was what it was. Okay. Yeah, and this is I think it has some similarities where people come into this town but they can't leave out of this town. If they try, it's basically it loops them right back into the town, and then so like it is actually interesting, and that's what's weird about it, because it's like these things that are trying to kill them, they're almost like zombie vampire like. I don't know. It's weird, and but it's interesting at the same time. So like I'm intentional by it, like the time I spend it's either with family. I don't watch a lot of TV by myself. If it is, it's like I'm gonna hit a movie, and then I'm done. I'm off to doing something else, you know.
No, I'm the same way because like I really don't watch much TV, if at all, by myself. And it's the very same thing. Like if it is, it's with my fiance. And like so, one thing that we finally caught up on, and like we hadn't watched it. We maybe watched like 1 or 2 episodes prior to that, but it was like Cobra Kai. So, you know, the Karate Kid spinoff, you know, and it's really good. Like the first however many seasons they had, I was like, oh shoot, I was gonna start doing karate myself. I was like, and granted, it's been around for I don't know however many years, and we literally just started, and it took us a couple months to finish it, but it was a good thing to kind of watch and see through. But like you said, it was intentional time to spend with the loved ones. That if it's not like I'm one of those people, if it's not growing me, then I don't see the point of investing the time, because like I only have so much time.
Yeah. No. And I think that's what I look at. I look at my past, how I actually watched more TV, and if it wasn't because, or it's like the first thing you do when you get off work, right?
Yeah.
And it was to watch TV. If I wasn't at the gym, I was sitting watching TV, you know.
Right.
And in a sense, I didn't understand that all that time is wasted time that I could have put towards building myself to get to my next level. I wanted to go somewhere, but where are you going to go if you're sitting in the same stationary spot, right?
Yeah.
So that's things that I like over time. I learned that's probably why I wasn't hitting all my goals that I wanted to do, things I wanted to do, right?
Yeah. And I think even now it's worse because now you have like YouTube, you got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got all the other stuff that like they're all entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. So they're very synonymous to what TV was/is. And it's just like things that kind of take your time. But now it's like in very short doses, like 10 seconds, 15 second, 30-second clips but you just like run through them like the entire day. I mean, they can be used for very educational stuff as well. So like the ones that I follow are like a lot of fitness ones and a lot of like real estate ones and business ones. But I will say like it still takes time. Yeah, away from it, and you're like, oh well, crap! I just spent like an hour in this, or 2 hours in this little rabbit hole, and I personally haven't done anything. Like, I may have learned something, but since I'm not taking action on it, it feels kind of wasted. I will say, like, I never really wanted to get a TV because I knew they were a distraction. Because, like you said, when you're younger and you watch TV, you're like, where did all this time just go? That I'm not doing anything. So like when I first moved out, like I didn't want to get a TV. So what we had was like a VCR and DVD player, and like we had like a small projector, and that like we would if we wanted to watch anything, it would just be on the VCR or on the DVD player. Yeah. But like I just didn't have a TV because I didn't want the additional distractions. Like it just, Also, I didn't want to try to pay for cable. So
hey, I mean, you do what you have to do, right? Especially when it comes to saving money. Like, it's not that easy to actually be intentional about saving money either. So like you know, a lot of times you think you can't, save money. Like you think all your money is spent and you have nothing left to save. But in reality, if you were intentional, you force savings out of it, right? So in a sense, that's what you were doing.
Well, because I was definitely one of those people, and I still am, where I focus on necessities versus like wants. So like for me, like if I had food and water, that's one, right? If I had shelter, right? If I had a running car, if I had utilities paid, like for me that was like all I really cared about. Everything else was like tertiary or secondary or tertiary, to where like, okay, I can go to school now, I can help pay for school, I can still do that, but like instead of distracting myself, I'm just going to take the time to really focus on school and certifications. So, and I mean, now we do have a TV and stuff, but I'm still under that mindset, like I'm not going to use it as much as I used to, because I still try to go back to that time where I didn't have a lot of money. I was still scrounging around, trying to get money and try to do better for myself. But so that always like comes back. I'm like, well, if I didn't need it then, what do I need it now?
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, so I mean, kind of that's the things I'm doing or whatever. I mean, some other things I were doing, but we can also talk about you. Like, what were you doing during your 2 weeks? Because in a sense, that's what it was, right? It felt like even though it was a week we skipped, that's what it like. It's like 2 weeks.
Honestly, this has been so coming back from the reserve annual training, catching up on work and stuff. Preparing for a lot of things coming up. We have our PI plannings, which are basically quarterly meetings and stuff. We have that coming up. Making sure our customers taken care of, and sure everyone's doing or reprioritizing work according to what the customer wants. Yeah. So it's been good. It hasn't been too crazy. Some of the tenants are being a little tough to deal with, but that kind of comes with the territory of being the landlord and managing your own properties. And then I had to replace the HVAC system. So
summers are crazy here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I had gotten a few different HVAC companies to come through, and then I ended up asking someone to see if they knew someone that was really competent. And he came through. He kind of gave me the rundown and talked to me through a lot of stuff. And so my biggest part with that is the transparency that he had provided, and the education he had provided, as well as helping me understand what exactly was going through the checks, what they're looking for. Because the previous companies, they never did that. They just kind of came out and then left, or came out, try to get me to buy something and then left, or whatever it was. So with him doing that, it was really good.
And definitely the weather's crazy. So yeah, even my neighbor, we were talking about how getting maintenance done regularly to AC unit, helps you out with this crazy heat. Stuff's not breaking down on you when you actually need it. Yeah. So then it's good that you're taking care of that ahead of time for your tenants.
Yeah,
trying to get all that taken care of. Yeah, that's a big deal here in San Antonio. Is AC.
Yeah, it is pretty bad here, and not that the AC is bad, but the heat, especially right now, the 100+ days. For I don't know how long we've been going on for these 100+ days, but when I was younger, I don't remember it being this bad. And granted, maybe because I was a kid, I didn't. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I was never as exhausted. I was never as tired as a kid. So maybe it was a different perspective from a younger day.
Yeah, I think that is also. It's you wanted to go outside, so you probably didn't think about that. It probably wasn't still as hot as this, but it probably was hot. Yeah.
Oh no, I remember it definitely not. I don't remember it being this hot.
Yeah. I mean, we got a little pond over here in our neighborhood. It's slowly drying up. That's how hot it is here. And but I mean, it happens, and then we get this crazy downpour. That's the reason why we have crazy flood warnings, because the ground is so hard, the water runs so quickly that it rushes in a certain area that it causes a flood.
Yep. Yeah, because we can't absorb all the water because of the limestone and all the other type of clay and sand in our soil.
Yeah. But okay. All right. So, we did a few things. It wasn't like we were just kicking it and not trying to do the podcast. It's we had things going on. So, but I mean, again, that's one of those things, I guess we get more intentional about what we want to do, how we want to do it, and how to slip in these, different episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I guess we're trying something different, right? We're interviewing each other, even though we probably kind of done it, but not actually intentionally called it, an interview.
Yeah. Because I know that as we're trying to grow the podcast and stuff, we want to interview others, and I definitely want to take the opportunity to do it, to interview each other as a base of what we could do for other people, different professionals or different people in our lives that we feel have done certain things and are going to do more things in a professional or personal sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got to get it started. So tell us about you, Craig. What are you doing now, and what's your professional journey, and you can tell us, of course, your personal journey and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess professional, that it is IT, right? So I'm a system engineer, and what I really like to do is what I'm getting into now, on this more development. So DevSecOps. That's, to me, it seemed like a a good field to continue the career on in. Yeah, as you start out in IT, you start out small. So you start out with, a simple thing is like, understanding what the internet is and fixing a computer, and you start out very basic, and then as it grows, you add on, and you like, okay, now I know how to do networking, and then now I know, it just keeps adding on the pieces and pieces, where you become a good IT professional. And as you keep growing, you kind of grow with the field also, even though it's broad. We have like so many different levels of IT. Yeah, but like the side I'm trying to go towards is development, because I want to get closer to, what do you call it, artificial intelligence. Yeah. So that's why some of our articles have been AI style articles, right? So that is something professionally, that's one of the reasons why I haven't been one of those people that's like, go start a business and all. I'm okay with doing my W-2 job because it does provide me something, right? Yeah. And as I grow, I am going to go into business as I grow, I guess, financially, and grow personally, because there are other things I want to do. Is not do this for the rest of my life. So yes, I enjoy spending time with my family. So I'm not trying to get so bogged down with a career where I can't even go to a game or take time off to go to
school.
Just take. Yeah, so that's usually kind of the things I think about. And so, as personally, as I said, it'll be business, something that I want to go into. So real estate is where I'm starting and I'm learning. I've, tried a few things here and there. And as I was younger, I've always kind of, I didn't shy away from trying to do work to kind of make a little money. So, and I kind of teach my kids the same thing, is try to, get in there and, hey, if you want to make some money, hey, what can you do? All right. Right now I don't allow them to cut the grass, but my son, he's always trying to do it, which is great, right? He's already forming that work ethic where he can come out and he's willing to help me, because we were washing the car together, and he was putting in work, at the in the middle of it, he's like, hey, I'm getting paid for this. I was like, yeah, I thought you just wanted to hang out with Dad, but I'll give you some money.
It was sometimes worth something, Dad.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was like doing a crappy job. He was actually doing a pretty good job. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give you some money. But the thing is, and what's funny about that is, as we were kind of finishing up, another guy was passing by, because he just cleaned his car and he was gonna get ready to leave. And he's like, man, he's a good worker. And I was like, yeah, I hope he keeps that, as he gets older. And he was like, oh, he will. And I was like, all right, it's great to hear this. Yeah. But I guess to see that he's already kind of forming that, but he has it naturally, right? And maybe he watches me, because it's not like I'm a slouch, I'm looking to avoid work, right? So like if I need to cut grass, I cut grass. If I need to, work on something for the house, I go do that exactly. And so he definitely watches me, which is a good thing. Even when it came to swimming, he did the same thing. He watched me do certain moves, and then he started picking up quickly. So, and that's the one thing, you're the role model first for your children. Yeah. So and the issue with that, right? We have to send our kids to school. We have to send our kids to practice. We have to send our kids to daycare. We have to, so you have all these other influences in their life. But, in reality, you're the sole role model. And that's why you have to spend as much time as you can with your children.
Yeah. Well, because if you really think about it, like you said, you're sending your kids to school and all these other things. And, there's only 24 hours in a day. If you're spending 8 hours of work, they're spending, 6 to 8 hours at school. That's certainly 8 hours gone. You're sleeping 6 to 8 hours. So you have maybe another 8 hours with them. And like I said, within 24 hours. And most people aren't spending, 8 hours a day with their kids.
Yeah.
And even if it's on the weekends, right, you probably have stuff to do. You probably have stuff for them to do, like going to games and stuff like that. So getting as much time as possible with them. And, because like I said, if someone else is giving them 8 hours of their time, then, and you're not giving them 8 hours of your time, then they actually have more of a chance to be able to influence on your kids than you do.
Yeah.
But well, kind of going back to what kind of inspired you getting into like IT and cyber? I know we've kind of talked about one of the podcasts where like military kind of got you into like IT and stuff, but like you were originally thinking about doing it when we were in like college, but it wasn't like the deciding factor going into like IT and cyber.
Employment was the deciding factor. So like when I was in college, I went to school for industrial engineering. The degree is industrial engineering technology. So got it from University of Southern Mississippi, which is not known for their engineering, but they do have a good technology program, and same as science also. They have other things too. So, I mean, but that's what I've known from them. And that was one of the reasons why I chose. One, it was a little bit closer to my home because I never quit my job that I had that was near my parents. So that made it easier too. Like I could travel back to where my parents live, work, and then like go back to school Sunday night before Monday, before Monday's class.
Yeah.
So I really didn't do that weekend partying unless I stayed. Like, so I was like, I might say, hey, I'm not going to work. Like, let them know I'm taking these off days or whatever. And that is the only time I ever got a full weekend. But then what was surprising, a lot of people actually left over the weekend. They might have stayed maybe that Friday night and then they were somewhere else over, So obviously college life, everyone's busy. So so not everybody stayed just to stay around the university. And so it was kind of good I did that because I think most of the action happened on Thursdays anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like Thursday's like the party night, right? So like everybody goes to the club that night. So but the deciding factor, what happened when I did go into the military the first time, I was trying to do this because I had an interest. While I was doing that, you have to take these overall classes, and I was interested in IT. I started building computers with my dad, which was fun. And then after that, I moved to Dallas at one point, and after that, life wasn't that great. It was fun. It was fun while I lived there, but things financially wasn't great. So I had to make decisions that led me into the military, which was also a good decision. And I still, to this day, will say it was a very good decision for me at the time because it kind of helped me pull in skills I didn't realize I had already. Because that's the thing, when you get the opportunity to show them, that's when you realize you're like, oh, I'm actually good at this. So like learning how to be a leader, learning how to think on my feet, actually taking care, so when it comes to stress management, like understanding how to adjust so you don't drive yourself crazy, like all those things you kind of learn while you're especially active duty military. And so the first, as we call it MOS, which means job. And not the actual acronym, but like what it really is a job. And so then I picked something that was more electronic, but I didn't know electronic because it was disguised in the name. It had like computer system detection repair or something crazy like that. I was like, yeah, computers. That's it. I want to do that. Yeah. And come to find out it was electronics, which was still wasn't bad. It was actually pretty cool because we did a lot of electronic classes and a lot of troubleshooting classes, which was actually pretty cool. And then after I did that MOS at my first unit, I decided when it was time to re-enlist to switch to a different MOS, which was basically information technology specialist, I think that's what it's called. And then from there, I kind of was like turned to a sponge because I would learn from whoever I could. It didn't matter if it was my soldiers. If they had information, I'm learning from them, and then I'll teach them something. It's basically an exchange of information. And then we had we call them GS employees, but we're calling civilians mostly. And they had a lot of knowledge because they had years of experience. They were retirees and everything. I would latch onto them, and then basically become a sponge. And the one thing I like about one of the civilians, he almost made me fish for the answer. He wouldn't give me the answer directly, and then I would kind of play that game back. I was like, okay, so this is kind of my issue, and you don't have to tell me the answer, but kind of point me in the right direction. And then that was one of those things I learned not to, like look for someone to give me the answer. So I learned how to get the answer in a better way, where I'm still responsible for figuring it out. So I'm still using my head and not basically looking to somebody to give me everything.
Right.
And then, then while I was there, and this is while I was in Germany, it basically just picked up a lot of classes, which they had this school there. And I just, anytime that I had free time where we didn't have a busy schedule at work, I would ask, can I go to these classes and get signed up, everything, do all the little prerequisites? Because they always had this thing that you had to do before you went to the class. And then after that, So then after that, I would just pull in all this knowledge, go home and study some more. I built my own lab and just continued on. So not to keep drawing on about the IT thing, but that is how I really got into it. And as I saw that I actually had more of an interest in it. And another thing that makes you successful is the enthusiasm that you have about something that you do. Even if it's something that you don't really like, if you change your motivation to enthusiasm while you do it, you become better. You actually become more successful. What is that? The book, Think and Grow Rich. That book actually talks about that in there. And it was about you just, treating it as if it was, like this exciting thing, and it changes your mentality about it. And that also actually, turns you into a successful in that area, successful person in that area that you're working on. So
and a good little short saying is your energy goes, or your energy flows where your passion goes.
Yeah,
right. As in what you're passionate about, that's where you're going to spend most of your energy on. Like I was saying, when I first started getting into fitness and stuff, it was just something I was very passionate about. I wanted to look better, I wanted to feel better, right? I wanted to be more healthy. So it's where a lot of my time was going, a lot of my focus. Look up things, I would research different things. I'd of course, go to the gym, I would, fix my nutrition. I did the same thing with IT as well, where it's I see this going somewhere that's very financially, profitable, and, I'm enjoying it because it's not something that's really easy. I'm challenging myself, I'm doing all these things, and it's not they're not simple as well. Some of them can be very complex. IT is definitely a great career to pursue for many reasons, and it's definitely where the overall not just economy, but world is going. Is IT, like you said, AI is the future, especially as we're starting with certain generative AIs and machine learning.
Yeah,
people are going more and more into it. But so in IT and maybe in the military, were there any mentors that kind of helped you or guide you, I guess, towards that? I know you brought up some of the civilians and some of the soldiers that you were learning from, but was there anyone, not, you don't have to say their specific name, but was there something that they said or did that really pushed you into IT?
No, it really, I think when it came to IT itself, it was kind of me motivating myself. But what I used is when anybody could be your mentor. So if I take knowledge from another person, in a sense, they just coached you to figure out what you need to do. So I kind of use different scenarios. I mean, I am more intentional about picking mentors now. One, it was so funny when I first got into the military, and I heard that, where they were saying that you need to get a mentor, and I was like, what do you mean get a mentor? Because that was something new to me. Because usually, to me, it sounded like, you mean I don't know what I'm talking about? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I need to go grab something, but in a sense, you don't, right? You are ignorant until you learn something, right? Until you learn whatever it is. So that's why I had to change my mentality about that. And now anytime I want to learn something new, I grab a new mentor. If it's business, I'm grabbing a business mentor. If it's real estate, I'm grabbing a real estate mentor. I grab somebody to help me figure out what it is. When it comes to IT, it's pretty much if it's an area that I know I need to grow in, I'm looking, I'm going to ask questions, right? When it came to networking, I actually intentionally picked the network engineer that worked with me at the company I work at. And he basically just he coached me on whatever he could to get me there. He even started this little group where he pulled in other people to mentor, and then it allowed other people to mentor. Pretty much in a sense, it was a group of mentors where you can do a class on certain topics in networking. So networking engineering, instead of the networking as you meet people, but like network engineering. So you can learn more of the Cisco, Jupyter, that type of stuff. Actually find out radio frequencies can be part of the network, right? It was different things I learned, and it was from that, grabbing a mentor. So, yeah, so it specifically IT, I don't have any famous mentors. It's usually mentors that came into my life. The other, obviously you have all the YouTube and the podcast, other podcasts out there. So like I would, in a sense that, they're mentors, as well. Right. So,
yeah. And going into like the future part of your life, I know you had talked about like, monitoring on like the W-2 stuff and that helping your financial growth that can then grow other stuff. But what's your current vision for your professional future, whether that's, IT or other stuff?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm using the same concept I used in the military, where I wanted to create two parallel paths, where one is the path so when I was in the Army, I was trying to do whatever I could to grow in the Army, and then at the same time grow as I wanted to be a civilian. So I created two paths to create options. In a sense, I'm doing the same thing as a civilian. So at my current, job, I'm doing the same thing where I can grow as much as I can while I'm there, and also creating another path along the way to become a business owner, or a real estate investor, if you want to say that, because that is part of being a business owner. So all these different things that I want to do, they're to create my options, but it's an option that actually can help you grow throughout your life, which is actually great, right?
Yeah.
So basically, in a sense, the future would be to, once you get to a crossroad, is to kind of just divert over to being a complete business owner, which is a better retirement plan than just trying to look for a pension, right? So,
then are there any things you're looking forward to right now, like any projects or opportunities like that you're kind of doing right now to kind of set up that future you?
I mean, like I said before, the grabbing a mentor to help me figure out exactly where I want to go, and reading good books that actually help give me a different perspective to guide me along the way to getting to become a better person. And those, I say, those are the things that I'm doing right now to help me grow into that next person. And I mean, honestly, this probably change again once we do another little recap on interviews for each other. So probably it'll be more added on to that piece, because as you get older and as you grow in life, you pull in new things that you learn. So there'll be more added. I can assure you that.
Yeah. And then this is kind of like I guess more personal question than it is a professional question. But how do you make sure that your future goals also align with your passions and values? As in, like, making sure that they don't. So for example, say a lot of people, they want to be financially well, right? And some people may fall into that line where, like, well, I can just go deal drugs and go make money, right? But if that doesn't match with your values, then you more likely would do it. I say it has to be that type of extreme, but how does real estate, building a business, and being in IT really fit with your values?
Well, I mean, one, it gives my kids something to look up to. My kids can see that I'm actually putting in work to learn something, especially like in IT, having a professional job. They can have these two paths that they want to choose, right? They can choose professional, they can choose business, right? Which is still, in a sense, professional, right? They see me creating something on the side, and I'm making money, and I'm doing, because you'll hear my son talk about it. He wants to make money, right? And then same as my daughter, she's always trying to come up with an idea so she can create her own little side business, like if it's a lemonade stand or a smoothie shop or whatever it is she's trying to do. Like, she's always trying to come up with something. which I'm actually happy. But those are the real reasons why, like, I do that and make it aligned with my values, is to help them. Because if they see me, trying to be somebody I'm not, right, being a drug dealer, whatever, just to provide for them, that's not what I want them to do anyway, right? So like, why actually like have them even see that version of me? I want them to see the good version of me and kind of grow off of that, expound to the next level for them.
Yeah.
So that's how I make it align. It does it help my family, right? Does it help people around me? Because in a sense, I as they always say, it's lonely at the top, but hey, as long as you can bring other people with you, then you try to help them along the way. And I got it. You can't help everybody, because they can steal your energy. So you sit there and you try to keep helping this person, constantly helping this person. Now you've slacked off on creating you, right? Building you. But I mean, in a sense, if you can help other people along the way, share your experiences, or even show them exactly what you did to get there. Yeah, because I mean, that's why even if somebody asks me something about credit, I'm like, hey, let me show you let me tell you what I did first, how I messed it up, and then I'll show you how I fixed it to get better. And then these are the like tricks I learned. It's stuff like that. So I think everything that aligns with the path is always like, it doesn't just help me; it helps someone else.
Yeah, no, and that's great. Obviously, like, or you were saying, like, a lot of people will say it's lonely at the top. I think Drake says it in one of his songs. I think the one with Meek Mill was like the top isn't lonely.
Yeah,
it really isn't, because like you said, if you're building the people around you, then you're all at the top, and it doesn't have to be just like. And it's kind of like Drake's like MO is that the people that he's writing with now have been the people he was writing with when he was younger too. So like he's learned to build everyone up. And I think that's a great, as a business person, as a personal type of achievement, is that it's not just for you, right? It's for the betterment of others and the ones around it. Yeah. So going into like shades of achievement and stuff, and I guess like forming good habits. What are some of your habits? I was saying, like, productive and efficient. I know you were talking about reading books helps you really expound your mind on it, but like what kind of keeps you productive? Like listening to music, listening to podcasts.
Well, I mean, yes, music and podcasts, yes, they do help out. But in reality, it's still all internal, right? It's the certain goals that you have. Because like, so say, I remember watching a video back a while back, and this is when I was getting out of the military, or getting off active duty. Basically, what the guy said, it kind of resonated with me. He was like, regardless if you have this job that pays you a lot of money, but you don't do much, versus the job that you get paid less money, but you do everything, it doesn't matter. What you have to do is you have to keep training in whatever you want to do, continuously, and it would grow you regardless. So then you're not sitting there looking like I'm just stuck. I'm stuck here. No, you're still building yourself so you're ready for the next opportunity. I think even that book, the book I was reading, Compound Effect, right?
Yeah.
It was talking about a piece like that, where it's talking about the success for luck or something like that. What equals luck? And it's like, and I can't even remember all the acronyms he did, but it was basically how you build yourself and how you prepare for the next opportunity. Once you get there, then and that opportunity presents itself, that's your luck, and you go. And so in a sense, I kind of carry that same mentality. So like, regardless if I'm sitting behind a computer just looking at a screen all day long, versus I'm running all over the place, fixing things, it doesn't matter. I still have to grow myself, and that's how I keep myself from feeling bored or whatever, right?
Yeah. Other parts of like the strategy of achievement and stuff is how do you balance like the professional and personal life? Because you got the wife, you got kids, you got the real estate, you got, of course, your work. I wasn't that you kind of balance, and like I said, we only got like 24 hours a day. But like, how is it that you kind of try to balance all those things?
It is difficult. Basically, usually when I get the words that, hey, there's something going on at this time, I'm kind of like, all right, I guess I need to stop what I'm doing so I can get there. Like it depends, and then I do kind of weigh it though. Sometimes I weigh it and go like, okay, how many more of these, or I won't say many more because that's still kind of the same that I'm choosing some over my family, but it's more if I guess how do I want to say this? If it's not so, and I see now I kind of lost what I was trying to say because I didn't want to say that it was that I'm trying to choose something over my children, but if it's I guess like, okay, say if it's some little ceremony that I know that like, okay, all right, this is something they just made up or whatever, I might say no to that. Like, right, but if it's something like I know my kids achieved something big, or I won't even say big, just slightly, right? Or if it's certain practices, right? That's another thing I do. I also I would intentionally say take my daughter to piano, like purposely, and that's ways that I can spend time with them. If they have a practice, I'll stop what I'm doing. That's why I'll set a schedule. Hey, no, I need to leave by 4:00 today because I need to be here for this. Or I would do that to make time for them so they'll know that I care, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'll even take this last instance, like my son, because they're getting ready to start school, and my son was like, "Son, Dad, you're at work all day." I'm like, "Yeah, son, I'm doing this for you guys." He's like, "But I want you to stay home." Or I'm like, "All right, well," and I thought about it. I was like, "School's about to start, so let me come up with something." And I was just like, you know what? Let me just do a half day today. Or I really didn't do a half day. I think I just did enough where, it covered majority of the shift. But it still got me off work early enough to get there to hang out with the kids. And that's that. And pretty much we just had family. Rest of the day was family day. I think we ended the night with popcorn and movies upstairs. Because the plan was to take them to the arcade and maybe go to a movie. And it ended up being, we were playing old Nintendo, Mario Brothers, and Duck Hunt, which doesn't work good anyway on newer TVs. And then, I think we and some other stuff, it was old games that the kids were super interested in, that shocked the mess out of me. And we ended up playing that for the rest of the day, and then ended with a movie and popcorn, upstairs, right? So, I mean, I think that's how it goes, is like what you put first. And that's what I put them first. If they say it's something they really want me to do, I'll make time for it. Now, that's the beauty of not being on active duty the same way. Mm-hmm. It was so I could have more time with them like that. Because you're right, it's so much time in a day you have with them. Yeah. I spend more time with strangers I don't know versus my own family.
Right. I mean, I think you kind of said it too, is that when you're trying to call and stuff, is that it's not like you're going to work to not be with them.
Yeah.
Or you're going to work because it provides financially something for them, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying everything should be about money, but unfortunately things cost money, right? So the house that you all live in, the food that you all eat, the simple like luxuries that you want to do, like, their classes, their tutoring, whatever it is, right? Those all cost money. So fortunately / unfortunately, you had to go to work. Right? Yeah. And while they don't see it, and I mean, as adults, we can appreciate it. And we know that, at some point the kids will, when they become adults, is that, we're not just going to work just to go to work.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, they are strangers. At the end of the day, like, yes, you can become friends with them. You could, get to know them. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be part of the Poston family, right? The Poston legacy, right? Maybe they might partner with you on something to, business wise or whatever it is. But the immediate is that, these are the kids that are going to actually be your future. Like, it's like 100% a thing. Yeah. That they're going to be a part of your future. So I think that was a great way to talk about it, is like, or the conversation you had with Colin and stuff, and that you actually took action on it, to be intentional and take that half day, to spend with them. Now, like, going into like networking, as in like, talking with people and sharing people, not the IT networking, but what are some of your tips on like networking with other people and building like those meaningful connections? Because I know you brought up SCORE.
Yeah.
You kind of into.
I mean, the basically the local RIA that we have. Well, there's actually more than one probably around here, but like the one that I go to is Alamo RIA. Yeah, we ain't trying to bring it alimony in this, but Alamo RIA. That one is actually to me pretty cool. Sometimes you might have to certain ones if you want to talk to. I guess ask the right question, but then you got others that are like they're like worth giving information. And I mean, it's people who have been doing real estate for a long time. Like one guy I talked to, he's been doing real estate at least since the 2010 when everything was like super cheap. He bought it and then ended up paying all that off, and now it's more cash flow. And like now he just wants to grow himself. So like he's trying to do more with other ways of financing versus using his money. But like, yeah, it was actually pretty cool for him to tell me how much he made per month. And I was like, that's awesome. And his properties are paid off. And I was like, dang, which actually makes it better, right? But that's the thing. They came in at a different time. And like to learn new strategies down for our situation, it's kind of cool they're doing this for that. So that's one of the networking things that I do. I mean, I think now I'm also taking a more intentional approach by networking by any event that I can go to for networking. I need to be there because you learn something new every time. I mean, even just like I said, at work, taking the step to move to a different program that allowed me, it opened my mind up to like, okay, things can be done a different way and still be successful. So, I mean, I think that's what all is about. It's just like that change. Are you willing to change, and are you okay accepting what someone says? I mean, you don't have to follow it, but you can go like, you don't criticize as soon as they say something. You're like you're already like, okay, let me take in what they said, and then I'm gonna use it in a different way, and or you can take the same thing they said and maybe follow it, but you're not already kicking out their, the things that they said like it was nothing, right? So that's the one thing I'm learning is not to be that way. I mean, I could tell you, I think another thing that changed me from like not disregarding something that people say. I mean, it was, I may have told you this, but like, I had a friend back in the day, like, those stoner guys, right? And like, how you look at them and you're like, all right, man, whatever, dude. Like he'll say something and you're like, okay, man, all right, you sound crazy, right? And one day he actually had a good idea, and but it was about cars, right? And I didn't know this was gonna happen, but like, and maybe he had insight on it first, or he just thought of how they had the rear view camera, but they can have it up in the rear view mirror. Yeah. And like now, I think it's more common to know that, but like back when we were younger, no, it wasn't that big of a deal. And I was like, man, that'd be pretty, because I was
smoking.
yeah. I was like, because I was trying to do a camera in one spot, like, cause I mean, a TV screen in one spot where like, I've seen it before and all this, but then he just like, his mind opened, just like, no, it should go right here. Like, I was like, whatever, man. Like, because that's how I treated him, because he's a stoner, right? So, and then come to find out that ended up being a big thing. So that's why it was pretty funny. I was like, all right, I'm never gonna just kick out anybody's idea just because, right? So
just put it in a different column. Now put this in like stoners' ideas and jock people's ideas.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah. So, but now it taught me something. Just don't throw people to the wayside. Don't just disregard anything they say. Just like, just take it in account, right? Put it in the back of your mind, and then later on, just like maybe use it for something else, right?
Yeah. Now, what would be like some advice you would give to someone that's like kind of pursuing your career, and that could be join the military, getting into like IT and cyber, or like you're getting into real estate investing? What is something like you would give to other people that are looking to do those things?
Well, I mean, you got to see if that aligns with you, first of all. I mean, that's something you want to do, because nothing is easy, right? Everything you do requires hard work. I'll say this, anything that you want to be successful at requires hard work, right? Because some things you may be able to do with less effort, but like if you want to be successful at it, it's going to require you to do your research. It's going to require you to, maybe stay up late nights to learn something. I mean, you may not even have time, but you got to spend 30 minutes trying to scoop something up, and put it in your brain. So that when it comes to that, it just depends on what you want to do, and just understand that your work ethic is what's going to carry you the rest of the way. All right. So, and that's kind of like how I've been doing it, and pushing myself to get to the next level every time, get to the next level. And that's what I like to do. And then, like I said, still take in the information that everybody, that I hear, right? I might not take it and apply it to the T, right? But I take the information and I use it for the right situation to grow.
Now, out of all those, the multiple lessons you were just talking about, what is the most valuable that you think has done probably a lot more benefit to your life than anything else? Just that one thing, what is that one deciding factor that was this is why I am where I am, or this is why I've gone to certain places, and this is why I think this way?
Perseverance.
There you go. Okay.
There you go.
You want to expand a little bit more?
You didn't know one word, man. I got you. I'm just being funny, man.
But I mean, that's a great word, and I think the way that people define it is really good as well. So kind of walk us through what's your definition of perseverance, and what does that look like?
All right, so I'll take it like this: if you can be the dumbest person in the room, or you could, you may not see the things that other people see, but the thing is, if you don't quit and try to learn, and you try to keep going, you will eventually learn how to do whatever it is. The thing is, people will try to make you feel stupid, and it's, especially when you're in a vulnerable state, it's real easy to feel stupid, right? Yeah. But if you know who you are and you want to go somewhere, having your perseverance to push through all those bad comments, or however you feel, right? If the voices in your head are going off telling you, no, don't do it. You know what I mean? No, you should definitely, if it's something you want to do, you should definitely look into making sure that's what you want to do, and then push through and get there.
Definitely. That was absolutely wonderful. Now, for the closing part, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners about your professional experience, or your journey thus far, or how you're going to, get to the next journey, or to the next Craig Poston?
Stay tuned. We'll find out, because as we are on this podcast, we call it Troubleshooting Life, and as we troubleshoot life, we find out new things, and we'd like to share them.
We're going to have an article this week. We want to close us out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Craig and Jay signing off the Troubleshooting Life podcast. We'll see you next week. Please like and subscribe. Also, check us out on Spotify.
See you next week.